Let's see, what am I missing here? Oh yeah. Hat, check. Sunglasses, check. Pepsi, check. Notes, check. Sources, check. And thick skin, check. Let's go. Welcome back to Going to Blue Dude, everybody, and all we do here is college football. So if you're a college football fan, go ahead and hit the like and subscribe button. And as always, feel free to send gear to represent you and your team. Look around. That's what my background is made of. So if you want to be a permanent part of Going to Blue Dude and my background, send gear to represent yourself and your team to P.O. Box 360, Liberty, South Carolina 29657. A lot of people are calling this day Separation Saturday, and I kind of agree with that because we have a lot of undefeated versus undefeated matchups. And on top of that, we have other undefeated teams that are going to get tested. Well, the first test has been completed, and I'm talking about number 10, Penn State, at number 5, Michigan. Now, I picked Penn State to win this game. I thought they had what it took to go on the road and beat Michigan. I didn't think that Michigan had been tested, like, at all. Not at all this year. Not at all. Not even one time. They have a very, very soft schedule. In fact, even after this game, really, the only tough game that they have remaining is on the road to Ohio State. Now, is that a very tough game? Yes. That is an extremely tough game, but the rest of their schedule is cake. Like, this is a very soft schedule. In fact, I look at this schedule and I'm like, why can't West Virginia schedule like this? I mean, we would at least be a bowl team, 8-4. We wouldn't be, dominant like Michigan and possibly go undefeated, but still, an 8-4 season with that schedule, maybe even better. But no, we get a very, very tough schedule. We have 6 road trips. But anyways, I digress. Michigan with a really, really easy schedule. Their first test was today. A top 10 Penn State at home. I thought Penn State had what it took to go on the road and beat Michigan because they did go on the road and beat Purdue. That was a tough road environment. And they did go on the road and blew out Auburn. I mean, they absolutely blew them out. And don't get me wrong, I'm not trying to compare Purdue and Auburn with Michigan. Michigan is a much, much better team. Much better. But the atmospheres. I think Purdue and Auburn have a much more intimidating atmosphere than Michigan. So I wasn't buying into the atmosphere of Michigan. Simply the way that their stadium is built. It's not built for the fans to be on top of you. It doesn't trap that much noise. So it's not as intimidating, especially Auburn. Now, Auburn is a bad team, but ask LSU. It is tough to win there. So I was thinking Penn State had what it took. The atmosphere, yes, it was going to be crazy, but nothing they haven't seen before. And I thought that they were going to pull out a squeaker of a win. That is not what happened. Not at all. Michigan absolutely blew the doors off of Penn State. Absolutely humiliated them. 41-17. Penn State came in with a pretty good offense, and Sean Clifford, I thought he was one of the best quarterbacks in the nation. He did not look good at all. Penn State had trouble getting first downs. If you take away that pick 6 that Penn State had, then the Penn State offense only scored 10 points. 10 points. That's not good. And I do think that Michigan has a good defense, but not that good. So what did we learn from this game? Well, we learned that Penn State can have an off day whenever it comes to offense. We did learn that. However, I do think they still have a chance to win the Big Ten East. They do need to beat Ohio State at home and win out. But now they need Michigan to lose twice. So they need Michigan to lose on the road to Ohio State at the end of the year. And they need Michigan to lose a game before that if they want any shot of making the Big Ten championship. Because right now, Michigan now has the tiebreaker off of Penn State. So they do need a little bit of help. And that offense needs to figure out how to get out of these lulls. We've seen Penn State have some lulls in the past, but they were short lulls. In this Michigan game, they had an entire game full as far as a lull goes. Like, pretty much the entire game was a lull for this offense. And maybe this shows that Penn State maybe relies a little bit too much on the run game. And whenever the run game isn't working, then the pass game can't pick it up because it couldn't today. So, Penn State, relax. Even though I had you winning this football game, it's not over. You still have hope to win the Big Ten East. You still have hope to get to the Big Ten championship. and you still have hope to get to the playoffs. You can't help that you have a tough schedule, much tougher than Michigan's. Now, you're going to need some help. You're going to need Michigan to lose one game before the road trip to Ohio State, and then you're going to need them to lose on the road to Ohio State. So you do need help, but all is not lost. Now, Michigan, man, you guys now have the inside track to the Big Ten Championship. You control your own destiny. All you have to do is win out. Yeah, I know. Tough road trip to Ohio State there at the end. But if you play like you did today, then you very well might do that. That's exactly what you might do. Ohio State has shown some glimpses of having some weaknesses, some issues. Now, they've gotten better and better as the year has gone on, but so has Michigan. So there's a big old bullseye on that Michigan at Ohio State game at the end of the year. And I know there usually is, just like last year, but this year it's going to be important. Once again, I do think it will determine who gets into the playoffs and who doesn't. I think today's game had a lot to say about who gets into the playoffs and who doesn't. Now, does that mean that Penn State's completely knocked out? No, it doesn't. But now they need a lot of help. What it does mean is now that Michigan is on the inside track to get to the playoffs. This is a big win for Michigan. Not only did they win this game, but they absolutely humiliated Penn State at home. This is exactly what Michigan needed. And a lot of people, including myself, not going to lie, thought Michigan was going to take a slight step backwards this year because, let's face it, Jim Harbaugh hasn't been consistent at Michigan. That was probably the best season he's had at Michigan. And this year, there was no reason to think that they wouldn't go back to what we're used to. But it looks like maybe he's figured things out, and Michigan looked absolutely dominant against Penn State. Michigan looked like a playoff team today. That's what it boils down to. Michigan looked like a playoff team today. Now we have some other games going on that's going to determine, some playoff picture implications. The game that I'm watching right now, number 3 Alabama at number 6 Tennessee, and Tennessee going into halftime with the lead. I honestly did not see that coming. When I picked that game, I picked Alabama and I laid the points. Oklahoma State at TCU. Both of those two teams are still undefeated. And I did pick Oklahoma State, and they do have the lead at halftime, 24-13. I do think that the loser of the Oklahoma State and TCU game probably knocked out of the playoff race because the Big 12 needs an undefeated champion to get into the playoffs. So the winner of this game is in good shape, and the loser is not in good shape. Now, for Alabama and Tennessee, as long as you win the SEC, you're getting into the playoffs. Even if you have 2 losses, I am convinced, even if you have 2 losses and you're the champion of the SEC, you're still getting into the playoffs. So I would say as far as importance, the game between Oklahoma State and TCU is more important for the conference because I don't think that a 1-loss, TCU or a 1-loss Oklahoma State is going to get in over a 1-loss Big Ten champ or a 1-loss SEC champ. I don't think that's going to happen. But if you have a Big 12 team that goes undefeated and wins the Big 12 championship, then you can get to the playoffs. So whoever wins that game has an inside track, and whoever loses, probably knocked out of the playoffs. All right, guys, y'all let me know in the comments section, do you think Michigan gets to the playoffs, and do you think that whoever wins the Big 12 gets into the playoffs as well? That's all I got for this show. Like and subscribe if you haven't already, and I'll see you on my next show.